Excellent. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gehenna Gaming's Faces, which are probably the least interesting faces that you have come here to watch over the course of this weekend. I know.
That's not true. You guys have very interesting faces.
For example, Mark shaved.
I did. I shaved
why?
today.
You are why?
I was growing my apocalypse beard, and then through these streams, I'm like, I should probably do something about this.
He wanted to impress me. He's like, "Oh, Christopher Gray, better shaved."
Yeah, he's coming on. I really should probably. I almost put on a tie for this.
So thank you all for tuning in for this. This is going to be an hour and a half. We are doing a special actual play demo of The Great American Witch, which is created by Christopher Gray. Christopher, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself in the game?
Sure. I'm a designer. I'm probably most known for The Happiest Apocalypse on Earth, although last year I did put out The Great American Novel, which was actually my framework for making storytelling games more codified so that we could tell more interesting character-driven stories as opposed to, combat stories. And so that came out, and then I decided to adapt that framework for my answer to World of Darkness, which is Great American Witch. So we will be playing that today. The game is in beta. Actually, everybody has the opportunity to play test that game right now. If they go to christopher.world, I've got 10 playtest spots, which means you get the manuscript and you can play it, but that means you have to tell me, what worked and what didn't. But yeah, that's me. I'm excited to run this. I've never done it in an hour and a half, so that'll be fun. You're gonna be like screaming through.
Yeah, push us along. All you need.
And what's the typical typical length of a campaign? But what's the ideal amount of sessions?
The ideal amount of sessions for a campaign, I would say, it depends on how you're doing it, but I think 6 to 8 sessions. But that would be an arc. You could really go indefinitely. I'm doing my first playtest campaign. We're about to wrap up this arc, and it's been about 8 sessions. We're going to probably keep the characters and keep on going on because the characters can advance, and you can play them indefinitely like we used to when we played Vampire.
Nice.
Awesome.
Have those 10-year campaigns that never end.
It was a really cool concept. We were looking through the book and some of the supporting material that you sent us ahead of time. It is such a cool concept. At first I was like, witches, okay, cool. Yeah, what are we thinking? And I'm thinking very basic, high-level witches, but it gets pretty deep, which I'm very excited about.
I'm personally incredibly excited. I am not shy about talking about my personal spiritual beliefs, and I am a pagan, so let's do this.
Yeah, you should find some good representation in here, I think.
I was impressed with what I read. I do have to say so.
Too.
Yeah, excellent.
So tell us a little bit more briefly about what the mechanics are like, what we're going to be doing today.
It's going to feel very powered by the apocalypse. However, there is a lot of fate in there. What you're going to see happening is when you want to make a move or a move is triggered, I'm going to ask, what conflict are you confronting? Because you can't make a move unless you're confronting a conflict. And the reason is because that sort of forces the characters to make choices about what is most important to them, and that actually drives the story forward. So the other thing that you're going to find is I'm going to ask why, not what, a lot. So if you're going to be punching somebody in the face, that's fine, punch somebody in the face, but why? Because the why will determine what stat you use. If you're doing it to protect yourself, that's one thing, but if you're doing it because you want to kick that guy in the ass, that's another. And those are going to be your stats. So you only have 3 stats. You have severity, you have wisdom, and you have mercy. I hesitated because I've been playing Happiest Apocalypse a lot in the last couple of days. So I'm like, wait, which game is this? But those are your stats. And then everybody has the same moves, and you're going to just be rolling accordingly. However, magic is where the characters really differ. The stats are tied into your character aspect associated with the triple goddess, because witches are actually calling down magic from the triple goddess. Any gender can be a witch. That's not what defines a witch. What defines a witch is that they're using the power of the triple goddess. So you'll see a lot of different types of very powerful primal magic. The game is designed to be extremely powerful. I was trying to fix the problem that happens in Vampire and Werewolf when you play too long and the game doesn't work after a while.
Yeah.
This one you can blow up cities if you need to, right out of the gates. So it's You're not playing around. You're witches.
You had me at blowed up cities.
That's like Mummy Second Edition already. I love it.
I'm into it. That's awesome.
So briefly, before we began, you had emailed us some stuff we needed to figure out and walk in with. We had to pick a coven type, and we had to pick a craft, what type of witch we are. And I noticed a lot of those crafts are based on like aspects of a mother goddess. Can we talk a little bit about what, very briefly, because I do want to get to this game, but what kind of what those are, and then, or we can just talk about the one we picked. And if people have questions later on, they can reach out to you, as we'll give you a chance to tell people how to get a hold of you at the end.
Yeah, the coven, you have to play in a coven. Everybody's in the coven. The game assumes you are together. There are covens that have 3 people. There are covens that have thousands of people. Witches in this game are sort of like World of Darkness. They're existing with the mundane, kind of apart from the mundane, covert, because witches are often hunted by agents of the Father God, usually represented by the Illuminati, which is a general term that describes a bunch of secret societies that have their own agendas. There's also a lot of supernatural underneath the surface that the witches are trying to protect themselves from, and also the mundane world. And a witch's agenda is really to kind of balance this imbalance of patriarchal and matriarchal energy and power inside of the United States, at least in the scope of this game. So what that means is you choose a coven. The covens are defined by purpose. So there are different kinds. There's covens where everybody practices the same craft. There's covens where everybody is trying to help people that are out on the streets and they need to, bring shelter. There are covens that are trying to protect the mundane from the supernatural world. You chose a coven that is just blatantly going to unseat the patriarchy basically at any cost. You are the Coven of the Storm. The Coven of the Storm is really interested in saying, you know what? We're witches. Why are we hiding? We can just fix this problem. So we're going to fix this problem. And that's, if you know True Blood series, they're sort of like those vampires that were like, hey, we're powerful. Why are we, can't remember the name of them. But anyway, it's sort of like the, you don't care. Now, there is no yeah, right, because you're powerful. There is no governance in witchcraft, really, but there's a body called the Seven Sisters, and they protect the sanctioned crafts. So if you are practicing crafts outside of what the Seven Witches sanction, they're not going to get their help or support. Covens of the Storm can work with the Seven Sisters, but generally they don't like each other because the Seven Sisters are saying, calm the hell down. We have a society to maintain, So
are there literally 7 sisters, or is it like just a kind of name of a larger organization?
They're literally 7 sisters. They actually live in New Orleans, and New Orleans became one of the big seats of witchcraft after everybody was driven out following the Puritan massacres, 17th century. So that's sort of where they took seat. There's a whole history section in the book that tells about this, but
fantastic.
I'm a history nerd, so I went a little deep. But anyway, so those 7 sisters, there are actually 7 witches. The genders aren't as important, but they are called sisters. And when one dies, then they nominate another who has to pass a series of trials to become there's only been like 3 sets of them in all witchcraft history. So
there's like the naming conventions and everything. It's kind of almost kind of like a polar opposite to patriarchy, where it's kind of a matriarchal system with sisters being a title, and sisters can apply to either a male or a female or anybody else.
Right.
Same thing with
cool.
the word witch, instead of going witch versus warlock, we're all witches.
Right. That's
Cool.
right. Yeah. And if you're an agent of the Father God, then that all goes out the window, because now you're more concerned about your station and protecting your power in the United States that's already here. So it is definitely feminine versus masculine, but it's not man versus woman.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, craft. That is your magic. That's what you practice. And those are done in the traditions of goddesses usually, but not always. There are the 7 sanctioned ones, Mary, and also called Isis. There's Diagi, which I think we have one here today. There's Hag. But they all kind of have a historical reference. But then there's also Broken Circle. So you can basically be the craft of Stevie Nicks if you want to. It works. It's fine. It just means that you're not going to be protected or sanctioned by the 7 sisters. And
That's
it's
awesome.
It's frowned upon, and it's kind of, but you could do that.
So you can kind of homebrew your own craft, like craft of Alice Cooper.
Yeah, you could definitely. That would be a good craft.
That's not the name I thought you were
Especially-
going to say when you started pronouncing it, but I'm glad it was.
Especially with the feminine name of Alice, and it's a guy. It's very fitting to this.
Yeah, it applies.
Definitely. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. And some decisions were already made. So I mentioned we're going to do the Coven of the Storm.
Yes.
Correct.
And you have character concepts already.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to start, Mark?
Yeah. Okay. So I picked the craft of, is it pronounced Aj or Aj?
It's Aji. But it's an African dialect. So I always say Aji. I might be doing it wrong.
Okay, cool. So I picked the craft of the Aji. I really liked the picture that was on the character sheet. I think it's really what guided my decision making. But then looking at the refuge, which is a place of rest and kind of where my character can recover power, the option of cemetery was there. So now I'm sold. I'm in. That's my refuge. My background is kind of the reason why I practice, why I'm part of the craft of the Age, is because. And I believe I just lost hope in the mundane world. There's kind of, after a period of time and exposure to this type of magic and kind of how I see the mundane world operating and the status quo of kind of the witch world kind of operating, all of it just turned me into a nonconformist. And I just say, fuck it. I'm going to practice Ajay.
That answers one of my questions. Can we drop F-bombs? Because I tend to.
Yeah.
Ajay comes from a tradition of West Africa, and the Ajay in West Africa historically were witches and were powerful women in the tribe and considered the wise ones. And it came over during the slave trade, and so a lot of it came in, filtered through New Orleans in the form of hoodoo and voodoo, and then spilled out into its own sort of practice. Like all of the crafts is sort of a hybrid of history. The biggest thing about Ajay is that they are trying to, under all power that they have, trying to stop subjugation of people. So that's their trigger, basically. So yeah, it would be, I could definitely see an Ajay being radical.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's kind of inspired by like Haitian voodoo, kind of separating oneself from typical society as a way to put yourself in a divine, kind of separate from the mundane.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm into it.
Oh, cool. What else do we have?
So I'm going to go with Craft of the Hag, which appealed to me because it's kind of actually very similar to my own spiritual beliefs. So I was going very much aligned with the idea of like being associated with spirits or the Fae. I'm going to focus more on spirits, I think. And the refuges being like the wilderness or remote cabins, things like that.
Hag is my favorite, my personal favorite, because Hag was what really inspired this game. My wife is a horror author named Kathleen Kaufman, and she put out a book called Hag a couple of years ago about a Scottish line of witches that go all the way back in history. And I really wanted to make a game about that. So that was really a big inspiration. So Hag is very close to my heart.
I'm pretty sure I read that book.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's wow.
That's
okay,
funny.
cool.
Small world.
Yeah.
Or she's very famous. One of the two. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's all based on the Kaich, which is the sea hag of antiquity in Celtic lore. So that's really cool.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm super excited for this one. The idea, just kind of percolating real quick, is like someone who's more in tune with the spirit, like nature spirits and things, than people. Refuge being out in the wilderness, kind of, and kind of quiet, unassuming, more of an observer than an active participant, which might seem weird to be associated with a Coven of the Storm, but he's actually an eco-terrorist. So
what's your character's name? Because I didn't mention mine. What's yours?
Oh, I'm gonna make a lot of people laugh hysterically right now. It's gonna be Dara, because I can't think of a better one, and that's the name of the witch I played in the Monster Hearts game I played recently.
Cool. Dara?
Darragh.
Excellent. What's pronouns?
He, him.
He, him. Okay. The name of mine, I think I'm gonna go with Legba, which is the Loa in Haitian Vodou, which is like the intermediary kind of bridge between the Loa and humanity, or these kind of African spirits and humanity. Also represents the connection between the islands in Africa. I think it's a rainbow serpent, I believe. So I think that's the name I'm gonna go with is Legba.
Legba, and pronouns?
He, him.
Very good.
I haven't heard Rick's idea yet.
So I am going to be the Craft of Lilith. My character's name will be Donovan, he, him. Let's see. Background. Attracted to like ancestor worship of the witches that came before. Has a natural affinity for blood magic. Refuge is a place of historical significance, possibly a place that other witches have been slain or hung or persecuted at, kind of focusing in on that trauma and using it to fuel the magics for this purpose of the storm.
So Lilith is, if you don't know the lore for the audience, the first wife that refused Adam. And in witchcraft has become sort of a beacon of, being your own person, not bound by other people. And so that has, over the years, have really turned into a vampire craft. There's a lot of vampires with Lilith and a lot of blood magic and a lot of primal sort of melt your face kind of magic. And they were the first to create vampires, and they did it as a curse for those that they really wanted to punish. And they would curse you to turn you into a vampire with an insatiable bloodlust and then bury you for eternity. So you would just be stuck there hungry and not dying. It kind of backfired, and now we have vampires in the world. But still, Lilith, pretty fun.
That's their problem.
Okay, so Donovan, is it Likva? Did I get that right?
Sorry. Oh, mine.
Yeah,
Legba.
Legba. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, now I know what you're talking
Legba.
about. Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, I think I was confused it too. I don't think it's a snake. I think it's kind of an old man with a cane. But that's fine.
Yeah,
We'll go
it's with the top hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Papa Legba.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, your coven is your coven has a hearth, which is your place of sanctuary, and that's it's like is it like an old Victorian home, sort of in the historic part of town with a bunch of tea settings,
Tea stops.
May I?
Oh, yeah,
for it.
take it.
No, it's a fucking metalhead biker bar.
Oh. Awesome.
Everybody that's watching the hearth, can you explain that a little bit? What the hearth's purpose is?
Yeah, the hearth is where your coven hangs, but it's their home, it's their sanctuary, it's their home base, it's their source of power, and is usually something that can't be penetrated very easily. And it varies. And some covens have hearths that are just wherever they are, but yeah, this is you generally live out of there and you work out of there, and it's your home.
Yeah, it's probably hard to get into that one because A, there's probably a cover charge. B, there's also a lot of
people who will kick your ass.
Yeah, rough and tumble punks and bikers. A lot of leather spiked gauntlets. If it was the 80s, there would probably be a lot of like nose piercings. I don't know.
I think we were saying that there's like chain link fence covering the stage so people don't throw beer bottles at the Dawkins probably be playing there every Saturday night.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, Dawkins.
Oof.
Danzig,
Danzig,
so we could play Mother. A
little bit better.
So the hearth is generally open, but nobody ever comes in until 10 p.m. Is that the kind of place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there's like one old dude who's been like sitting on the same bar stool for years.
Awesome. Okay, so it is roughly the full moon. It will be. It's 10% almost full moon, which means your characters are all in a full moon aspect. The moon will change your character's aspects. If you played a campaign, it'll be like whatever the moon happens to be that day. So your characters in game aren't necessarily affected by the moon, but it's sort of a meta thing. That means that your magic is extremely powerful. That also means you have the aspect of, so like if you are a Lilith, for example, or actually I have Aji right up. Aji is in Crone when in a full moon. So that means your aspect is Crone, and you have another +1 to your severity. Let's see, with Hag, I think it's
Also
Mother.
Crone.
Oh, it's Crone. Okay.
Yep.
And Lilith is Mother.
Mother. Yeah.
So you all have a charm. Think of this sort of like a fate point. If you want to change your aspect in order to do some different magic better, or to get a different bonus for a move you're trying to do, you can spend a charm. You can also spend a charm to introduce a truth into the narrative. And we'll get into this later, but there might be a point where you need to make a move and there is no conflict for you to confront. You can use a charm to confront a conflict that's already been confronted. So we'll get into that a little later. But if you so you have your charm, and you're gonna get some throughout the game as we play. And we have characters and we have a coven. Okay, I think we're set. Oh, stats. Do you have stats?
Nope. We have empty boxes, and I'm not sure what we put in there. We have mercy, wisdom, and severity. I know that with the full moon, it being the full moon and all, we get a +1 on severity, but I don't know what's going on with the other two.
Okay, so in the game, you actually have a stat array, but I don't have them in front of me, so we're just going to cheat. You can have everything needs a total 0, and you can have a +2 to a -2 on any stat. So you can do,
it's like cult in a way.
Yeah, exactly. You can do -2 +0 +0, or you could do +1 +1 -2. So everything needs to total 0. That makes sense.
Okay, cool. I get it. Math. Sorry, I was like, okay. So we could just kind of array them anyway.
Yeah, just put it however you want.
Okay, cool.
Do we let you know what's what for each character?
Nah, it doesn't really matter too much to me, unless you want to tell the viewers. I mean, I'm like, whatever, just roll the die.
I mean, I'll tell them what mine is.
Yeah. Oh, is it severity?
I'm going mercy -2, wisdom 1, severity 1.
I'm doing. Go ahead, Mark.
No, please, by all means, my friend.
I will do curse 1, wisdom 1, or severity, wisdom, and then mercy -2.
This is so different than my campaign. I can't wait to see how this happens.
Such assholes.
I have a +2 severity, a -2 mercy, and a 0 wisdom.
Let's hope you don't need any blessings, fellas.
Thy blessings be cursed.
Okay, cool. So this game is good timing. I wanted to start for an hour, so we're right on target. So this game is actually divided into chapters, and the chapters are set up in a way so that you are creating a certain kind of narrative during that time. This kind of solves the problem for me where, you might be doing a vampire game role play for like 30 hours, straight without having done anything or accomplished anything. Or, like when you're in D&D and you go shopping for 4 hours.
Yeah.
These chapter structure kind of keeps us focused as a table. I did kind of breeze past. There's typically a lines and veils process that I do with this game. It's actually built into the game, but for the sake of time, just put up an X if we hit content that you don't want. And I'm just going to keep it like PG-13-ish. So we'll see what happens.
Well, just we've said I dropped the F-bomb earlier, so we are now in the zone of mature content. Also, we are players of Cult Divinity Lost and Vampire the Masquerade, so we're pretty open to anything, but if anything comes up, we appreciate the X card just in case.
Yes,
definitely. Okay, cool.
Fantastic.
So the chapter we're going to start today, and this is just a way for you to briefly introduce your characters so that I have a better picture of what we're going to do. It's called a montage, and basically what you're doing is just like explaining with narrative control what your character is doing and what it looks like, as if we're viewing it on a screen. Now, the montage allows you to introduce truths into the settings. So if you, during this type of chapter, and say that this person exists and that person exists, and we all need to make sure we respect that. The only thing you can't do is decide something for another character, another player. So you can't say, Donovan does this unless you're Donovan, right? Okay, cool. So we're just going to open it up, and it is, let's say, after the rush, sometime in the odd hours of the early morning on a Saturday. Band is gone, broken bottles everywhere, eardrums broken, whatever happened that night, and whatever state you are. Let's do a montage and introduce your characters, look, feel what's going on, and feel free to introduce truths into the setting.
Yeah, why don't you start us off?
See, Dara would be probably, Dara kind of looks like your cross between a goth kid and a hiker. It's like probably wearing like a t-shirt and like a Henley over it, loose fitting pants, hiking boots, or like just like black combat boots. Probably cleaning, actually. Just cleaning up the mess, putting all the glass in the recycling, trying to tidy up a little bit. He usually stays on site, kind of sleeps upstairs. He has a cat that he keeps up there. When it's clean and there's no risk of broken glass, the cat kind of wanders around the bar area when it's empty, but not right now. Like I said, he's not like a clean freak, but he's environmentally conscious, and the other two would be well aware of that. So he's just tidying up.
Great. So what kind of cat is it?
The one that's currently laying on my lap. Probably a tortoiseshell tabby.
Yeah, great. Those are the great ones. I have
Shiva.
Shiva, not Sheba, Shiva.
Shiva,
right.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What's going on with Donovan?
Donovan's probably just waking up, even though it's like practically midday. Kind of like a Trent Reznor looking type, but with shorter hair. It's like a dark purple, short to the scalp mohawk, and probably entering the bars. It would be the first place he would go if he didn't already wake up there from the night before. Just kind of looking for people I know, looking for Dara, looking for Legba. No, it looks like it has. Cool. And just seeing what's going on for the day.
All right. And Legba?
Legba's actually behind the bar, but you wouldn't notice if you were looking at it because he's on the floor, kind of trying to work up the nerve to actually stand up. He's got an empty bottle of tequila that's already spilt and half broken, kind of staining his black jeans that are all ripped up and fashioned with various pins and straps of leather. He mostly wears corpse paint pretty much every day, but last night he was going pretty hard, so most of all of that has turned into either like a weird kind of brownish grayish smudge all over his face, if not completely rubbed off. And he's got like half of his head shaved, half has really long kind of gnarly gross dreads, kind of like shit stuck in it, maybe little toys kind of tied in it. And he once he actually works up the nerve to actually get up, he'll probably go to the bathroom to throw up and make his way upstairs to feed his snake. Hopefully there's still some frozen mice in the freezer. He doesn't remember.
You have narrative control, so you can say there are or there aren't.
Well, there aren't. So he goes to the freezer, opens it up, kind of swears to himself like, God damn it, I should have picked up some frozen mice. And around see that eyes it for a second, and shakes his head and just says, "All right, buddy. I guess you're gonna go hungry today, but I'll make sure to pick up something when I'm out."
Yeah, the snake gives you that look. You know the one.
I know, man. Sorry, mate.
Okay, so everybody's looking and feeling their finest. And we're gonna enter a menace scene. If you can see my card.
Oh, cool. It's a card.
This is a conflict. I'm going to be throwing these down throughout the game. So a menace scene means that you're in trouble. And so this entire scene is about you getting out of trouble. So what happens, we have a dramatic door opening. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, somebody could just open the door or throw the door open. No, like the door's like shutters blown open, kind of opens. And the brightness of the day outside. I mean, who knows what the weather's really like, but since you have been cooped up in a biker bar for many, many hours, it looks like, you know, the radiance of God pouring in. And you can see every visible dust speck, just sort of like snow in the air. And there are silhouettes that are blocking the brightness, and they're kind of like creating silhouettes upon silhouettes, cascading a shadow into the dark bar. There's one woman walks in, another, until all 7 sisters are standing inside the bar looking at you. None of you have ever seen them. You've never seen them before, but you know who they are.
Dara keeps sweeping up glass.
Dramatic entrance has no face.
I'm probably looking for an ice pack to nurse the wound I've got on my face from someone punching me in the face during a mosh pit thing last night. And I'm just like, wow, what's with the light? Probably hungover.
Legba's gonna walk back over to the bar and pour himself a beer. Ladies,
they're a mix of people. You know,
you.
some of them are young, some of them are older, some of them, you know, wear a huge bundle of fancy scarves, while others wearing more like, you know, torn jeans and leather jacket. It's just like a whole mix of them, and there's 7, so we're not going to go into too much detail, but you kind of get this sort of broad array of the most powerful witches in the country. One of them steps forward. This is the church lady, really buttoned up, kind of a suit, trimmed hair, and she has her purse. And she opens up her purse and takes out some lipstick, and looking at her compact, gets herself presentable.
You just hear as Dara's like pouring a dustbin full of broken glass into a recycling bin.
This place is charming. The other witches look at her.
We aim to please. How can we help you?
I hope you can. There is a problem in the city that we had to come and tend to. It seems there is a gang that has been raiding and destroying the hearths of witches. We lost 24 just last night.
It wasn't our gang. I mean, it wasn't us.
That shit will not stand. Thank you for making us aware of this. I don't know who these people are, but they're going to pay.
Yeah, any gang that causes a ruckus is probably a problem, right?
Especially if it ain't us.
One of the younger witches is suddenly standing behind Donovan. You didn't see her move there. She's probably early 20s, has dreadlocks, you know, cool band t-shirt, that kind of thing. And she cocks her head. She's like, "Are you sure?"
I'm not even turning around.
What
am I sure about what? Or are you talking to them?
Are you sure it wasn't you?
Lady, I don't even know who punched me in the face last night, but 24 witches definitely wasn't us.
Yeah, it wasn't
us. That was me, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, we'll talk later.
Just shaking my head at them. And I'm like, yeah, it was not us.
The church lady kind of steps up and goes towards I'm trying to get the name, Dara. And she clears her throat, and you feel magic washing over you. You recognize this as a divination, but you don't really know what she's doing.
I just stand there. I'm just leaning on
allow it to happen.
Yeah, I'm leaning against the broom, just watching her. Like, okay.
Oh, that was an interesting night you had. And I hardly call that music. As she turns to the others who are sort of like, what are you talking about? Well, it seems like it wasn't you after all. I didn't mean to make an accusation unfounded. However, I should tell you that this is sort of your problem.
I mean, if people are attacking other hearths in our city, it absolutely is our problem. It's part of the larger problem. And
no, I mean, it is only your problem.
Listen, Toots,
that's what I thought you were.
How is it our
down.
problem?
You have caused so much calamity over the years. You owe it to us to take care of these brigands in the only way that you know how.
She's not wrong, boys.
Yeah, speak for yourself. Or okay, yeah.
You just at me. I mean.
Okay.
Well,
She's like, okay.
What do you expect us to do about this?
Oh, were you talking at the same time as me? I'm sorry. I'll let you continue your thought, and I will hold mine back.
Okay. I'm just going to bury myself in this glass real quick just so that I can pay a little more attention to your problem. That's not really our problem.
Okay, we're gonna go meta here for a bit, because I think Legba was trying to do something. What are you trying to do? Are you being sarcastic for a reason, or are you just you want her? What do you want her to do about your sarcasm?
The reason why I am being sarcastic is twofold. I'm slightly hungover, number one. Number two, I'm not sure if we are directly responsible for what she's talking about. So I'm trying to seem as innocent as possible by being very accusatory and upsetting.
So I'm going to throw this out here. Dara is the straight-laced one of the group, outwardly appearing. Like he doesn't he'll sip a beer, but he doesn't get drunk. He smokes, but he's not. He's like the calm, centered one for outward appearances. Like, is this our fault? Is he just no shit, it's our fault?
No, it's not. But they are the type of people you would know probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it possible?
However, just so the game works, if you wanted to introduce a truth and say this was your fault, you could by spending a charm.
Okay. Is it possible to do a divination on Legba?
Yes, but before you do, okay. We're going to have Legba roll. I think what you're trying to do here is protect, which you're not very good at.
Yep.
Clearly, because you're using sarcasm to do it.
Yep.
So this is a mercy roll against hangover.
Okay.
Which is a conflict in play.
Mm-hmm. How many? You said D6.
Yeah, it's 2d6, and you might use a third if you use magic because it's a full moon.
I'm gonna use magic. Why not? I mean, screw it. I'll play with this. So, how does that work?
That's different. Okay, well, you have a list of spells that you can do because you are in you're in Crone, right? The Crone magic you can just do with an advantage. All of the other magic you can do as well, but you just don't get the advantage when you do them.
Let's do this because Legba is supremely hungover, acting like a douchebag, and probably not fully prepared for this conversation. Let's not have him introduce any kind of magic. I'll just roll the 2.
Okay.
And then I get a -2 because that was part of my stats. So
yeah, that's right.
Okay. 5.
Okay. So this conflict is still in play. which means you could confront it again later if you needed to. And the look on her face is just priceless. It's sort of like Umbridge from, the Harry Potter movies. It's sort of like she just tightens with a smile. And you feel a curse wash over you. Like she's cursing you and saying, as her spell.
Is this something we can physically see?
Before this happens, you are going to, you can sense it. Witches can sense magic being done, as a general rule. And you can always tell who's doing it and what it is. You can tell if it's a curse, a divination, or a blessing. A curse can be anything from like, you might trip and fall, or like your eyes bleed out. It could, you don't know exactly what she's doing or what kind of witch she is. Actually, I should tell you that if you are a seventh sister, that means you're superior and you know all of the crafts. So she could be doing anything. So anyway, you were going to do a divination on your friend?
Yeah.
What's the divination spell?
Well, I don't have a huge list, but I see that I can reveal to a subject what they must do to conquer their challenges and inspire them to make a lasting positive change.
Yeah. Covens forever.
Yeah, and normally I would care about what your aspect is, but because it's a full moon, all magic is at wheel. So you roll 3 and you pick the highest 2.
Okay.
And you add wisdom to this one since it's divination.
When we feel her casting a spell toward Legba, can we tell what type of spell it is? Or are we just like, so I'm immediately like, oh, she's cursing him?
Yeah, you know that she's cursing him, but
cool. So I would like to immediately cast a blessing on him.
Okay.
And it's going to be a fairy or spirit will be a subject's benefactor, protecting them from harm, inspiring them, and bringing them joy and passion. So I have to roll mercy. Hey.
Okay, so Donovan, what does it look like when you cast this divination spell?
A 6, a 4, and a 1.
Okay, so you got a 10.
Yeah.
When you cast magic, what does it look like? Can you describe it? Like, for example, when the seventh sister, the woman cast magic, she sort of like tightened her purse and made a sound, and that was sort of how she cast the spell. What does it look like when you do it?
When I do it, it looks like the punch I've sustained on my face from Legba, coincidentally. It looks darker all of a sudden, and possibly even starts to bleed through the surface of the skin, like through the pore.
Awesome. So that 10 means that you have a critical success. So that means you get an experience point in.
Oh, sweet.
In Crone, is it Crone? What aspect are you in?
I'm currently in Mother.
Mother. So you get an experience point in Mother. When you get 3 Mother experience points, you can choose another Mother spell from another craft.
That's awesome.
So that also means you can introduce a truth. You sort of have narrative control. You describe what happens, and you can introduce a truth, and then I can just take it from there.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so my intention was to try and help Legba get over what this was happening. I guess the truth would be that whatever negative magic I felt approaching Legba is reversed, and now whatever that was is a benefit rather than a detriment. And that hangover is also gone.
Awesome. So just by looking in, you sort of cleared the mist that was covering him. And at that point, what does the spirit look like that Adora casts? Or summons, actually, really.
Yeah. So for me, it would just be he just kind of like snaps his fingers a little bit, like he's kind of drumming them against these. That's literally he's just like looking at Legba and starts doing this. And it would be some sort of animal spirit, something actually because who he is, it would be a spirit of a snake.
Okay, and that's a mercy roll because you're blessing.
It is. So
you get an advantage. Yeah, so you roll 3, pick the highest 2.
Okay. All right, so that would be a 10, but I have a -2 to mercy.
And then so that's an 8. I
have 2 5s and a 3.
So And you were confronting Seven Sisters or Hangover.
I am confronting Seven Sisters. I'm
Okay.
trying to protect him from the curse she's casting. As soon as I
Always gotta
can tell
bail me
she's
out.
doing it. That's what I do.
So you feel the curse washing over you, like, and then suddenly your mind clears, and you can feel you kind of have like that aftertaste. You know, oh, Donovan just fixed me up. Thank you. And a snake comes around. You can only see the snake in your mind's eye, but you know it's there. Kind of coils around, and there is this soft ward that sort of creates a resilience. And the woman kind of, okay, I admit that it was a bit petty. So she kind of steps back and oh, is this?
Yeah, we dropped the table.
Oh, okay.
Cam, if you can bring that up.
Got it. So she kind of like steps back, and then the others are around there, and then she says, "Okay, you will take care of this gang, and you will do it now.
Legba
No more
kind of-
games."
Legba feels he felt really bad about not being able to feed a snake earlier, and now he feels a little bit more at peace now because of the spirit of the snake that is, wrapped around him. And his head is much clearer. I don't know if it's Donovan or if my beer is finished, but I'm feeling great right now. I'm ready to go. If you want us to clean something up, listen, I've got nothing to do for at least like 3 weeks.
I mean, we're no angels, and I don't deny that we have probably drawn too much attention, and we're responsible enough to go take care of it. That's all you need to say. So consider it done.
One question, actually. The lipstick that you're wearing, what brand is that? It looks nice.
Oh, thank you. No, it is from a catalog that I order. It's she gives you the name of it as some fashion designer.
I take the card and I reach into my back pocket and I pull out kind of a tube of black lipstick that doesn't have the cap on anymore. The lipstick is actually out, and like half of it looks like it's kind of chewed off, probably came off of my pants or I dropped it or something. And I kind of do like a little exchange, like, oh, you should try this, it's fantastic. And on the bottom it says, I don't know, like sinless makeup dispensary.
So what's the motivation here? Why are you doing that?
I'm just trying to be nice. I feel like, I'm feeling good, feeling like I'm ready to kind of take on the world. My hangover is gone. I want to impress the old lady.
Okay, so you want to befriend her. All right, you're confronting the Seven Sisters, which actually has been already confronted. So I think there is no conflict in play here. So this could backfire on you. Yeah. So if you want, and by the way, I don't normally get this crunchy in the game. I'm just sort of showing the mechanics. So normally I would say, oh, great, no, but I just want to show off. So if you want, you can spend a charm and confront Seven Sisters again, or you can just allow me to create a new conflict.
I'm going to allow you to create a new conflict.
That's what I hope you say.
This game's awesome. I want to clarify too, like, I'm not just trying to befriend her like I'm a good person. I'm trying to befriend her so that I still am not sure if we did whatever she said that we might have done. So I'm trying to still do my own little we're innocent thing.
Christopher, we lost the table camera.
Okay, I'm still going to use it because I need it.
Okay, I was just going to say if you want to try to bring it up real quick. I don't know if you can.
I think the computer went to sleep.
The problem, the conflict I put down is that the lipstick you have is cursed. You don't know that. So that's what you're rolling. And that is a befriend is a mercy roll.
Okay. Same too.
My computer ran out of power. That's what happened.
That's fine. We'll adjust the overlay.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Sorry.
2 seconds.
And that was a 6.
Oh, okay. So you hand her the lipstick, and she's at first very sweet, and then she drops it, and she says, "I've had enough games," and she gets really old very quickly. Her hair goes long, nails grow long, and then the other witches are sort of like, "Come on, they're going to do the job." And your lipstick is dropped on the ground.
I'm just trying to be nice.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Your friend is out of control.
Sisters, thank you for passing on this information. We will look into it.
The young one is now standing in front of you with her head cocked. They're hanging out in an abandoned old church at the edge of town, and wrote the address over there.
Thank you.
Don't fuck this up.
I don't respond to that. I walk over and I pick up where she wrote down the address.
And they dramatically leave in their silhouette against the sky as they leave the bar.
As they're leaving, I'm just yelling, "Ladies, you're welcome here anytime. Cannibal Corpse is playing next weekend."
Thank you for warning me about that. Also,
oh yeah, I forgot to write that down in the calendar.
I think they really liked you.
I go like I'm going to say something or yell at them, and I just turn around and I like walk out back.
Them? What the hell did I do?
I hand Donovan a beer.
Hey, all right, thanks, man.
Yeah, sorry about last night, dude.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Good.
So this is the next scene, unless you need a meeting. I always ask. Meeting is another type of scene in which there are no dice rolls. There's no conflict. Everything you need, you just get because you're resourcing, because you're about to go on a mission. So if you want a meeting, we can have a brief one, and you can kind of collect what you want to do and how to prepare, and then we'll go right into the mission.
Sure, let's have a meeting.
Yeah, because there was actually one thing I wanted to do. I actually wanted to do a divination to find a spirit that I could converse with and maybe get some more information.
Since it's a meeting, you don't need a roll for that. You can just do it.
Sweet.
Sweet.
And so who is it that you're reaching out to?
Some sort of bird spirit, something that would be would have eyes or in the area, maybe something that would have more information on what happened last night.
Now, I'm not sure where we are. Are we on the East Coast or the West Coast?
West Coast.
Your call.
West Coast.
Okay, West Coast. That means it's a falcon.
Yeah.
There are falcons around, so that falcon can see everything you need that falcon to see.
Fantastic. Yeah, I just want to know like where the hearths that were hit were, how many people were in them, was it simultaneous, like stuff like that.
Yeah, you find just through that divination that there were 3 hearths hit in the city, and they didn't seem to have a pattern except they were along the main boulevard. They were along kind of a thoroughfare. So it was sort of a sack and pillage kind of thing. It was out of expedience. It would have to be because, they were just all sort of in the same area, kind of in the downtown area. There's also the church that she talked about is an old abandoned church. Actually, you knew this church because it used to be a nightclub, and that kind of closed down. And so now it's not really being used for anything. It's just kind of like an old Gothic, used to be like a UCC kind of cathedral. And that's been abandoned, and that's clearly where they are. And yeah, you don't really see a pattern beyond that.
It was just club.
It was a pillage. Yeah, it would be a good club.
Can I also do my own divination as well to find some information? I would probably do like a little birthday ritual to, I don't know, just rando Loa, maybe take some cornmeal and on the ground kind of make a veve and blare some Skinny Puppy to try to
put headphones in.
No, not at all. Which probably annoys the other roommates.
No, I put headphones. As soon as you do it, I put headphones in. I was no like wolves in the throne room or something. Like equally heavy and extreme metal, but like completely different spectrum.
So I want to purposely like kind of take the Loa into my own being and try to take on any information that I can involving the destruction of said threat, not just the finding of. I'm kind of more curious about how to destroy it.
Okay, and what you're using a divination in what aspect? Which spell is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is.
You're just making it up. That's okay. We can just go on with it.
This is full crone. You reveal the source of an institution, organization of power. and or the source of corruption, as well as the best way to reach out that source and destroy it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure because I was going to reveal a bunch. Yeah, this is not an ordinary gang of witch killers. Those exist, and that they do. Usually, it's because of some mundane zealot. Sometimes it's an agent of the Father God that has snuffed something out and went and go crush somebody for some stupid agenda. But this is different. These are a group of Fomorai. I think I'm saying that right. Fomorai. Fomorai are legendary demons of Celtic history that had gone into war with all of the gods of the day. So these are demons having have descended into the mundane and are targeting witches. So somebody must have summoned them. And the worst part about it is the gang is led by Baelor, who is the king of them. And Baelor is an evil son of a bitch. If they have their way, they will eradicate all of the witches in the world. So somebody summoned them, and you don't see that in your divination, but you do see the way to kill them or destroy them is to destroy Baelor. So that's the trick. You have to hit the big bad.
Do you share that information? Because I picked the background. I have an affinity for Celtic traditions. So I would know a lot about this.
Yeah, I would. However, my translation of this information probably would have to lead you to jump to some kind of conclusions. For example, instead of Fomorai, I would probably just say FOMO, fear of missing out. Something like that. I'm not really sure. Some kind of demon, and I don't really know much about them. So that Fomorai connection.
FOMO demons.
Yeah, the fear of missing demons. The demons who are afraid to miss out on things.
No, that's not what it is. Oh my god, they're Celtic. It's a Celtic folklore. They're demons led by some form. If you said the name Baelor, I'd be like, that would be their leader. We need to pass on all the more detailed information and explain it to you instead of you being like, fear of missing out, man.
Well, also, I mean, listen, Agents of Baelor is a fantastic album. I'm pretty sure it's a tribute album. It's so good. We find, I mean, I don't know where they record, but we can at least find this Baelor son of a bitch who's evil as fuck and get rid of him.
Yeah, Dara, you know that Baelor is known for having two eyes, one in the middle of his head in the front that he sees with, and one in his back of his head that will destroy you.
Cool.
So, frontal assault.
Yes. If he turns his back, I share that. I'm like, if he turns his back to you, don't be there.
Thanks. Yeah.
To come at him from the side.
So he's been targeting these different hearths in our area. Sounds like he's not going to stop with our area. Do you have any insight as to where he and the cronies might be now? Where they might hit next? Or should we do we expect them to come here? Should we fight on like a home field advantage?
I share the information that I gleaned from communicating with the Falcon Spirit. So yeah, I mean, we kind of know where they are. This is where they've been hitting. So did it seem like they were making their way toward us or away from us?
If they keep going, they would hit you. They were doing a pillage basically, so they just went straight shot, and if they kept going. Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, we could wait, or we could hit them first, which I'm fine with.
I'm fine with that too, man. I don't want to get hit first and get caught with our pants down. I'm wondering if maybe this is out of character. Are there like any other covens that we might have like
known?
Friendship
this is the meeting. So if you want that to be the case, it is. If we were in a different chapter, I would make you roll for it or ask to spend for it. But we're in the meeting, so this is the time to get all your resources together.
There are those like romper stomper like punk cats.
Yeah.
From the other side of town. Mm-hmm. I hope they didn't get hit. I don't know. I haven't talked to any of them in quite a while.
Contact them and find out.
Derek pulls out his cell phone and starts, and goes through his contacts and hits dial. And just looks at both of them while doing
it. And they answer. I'm assuming you need their help.
You're on mute, my friend.
Wanted to make sure they were okay. Like they answered. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Kind of clue them in. Like, hey, we're looking into something. We might need your help. Are you around later?
Definitely.
We will call.
I mean, they're good in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, punk. Yeah.
And then I'm like, cool. Later. Hang up. Put my phone away. Just keep maintaining eye contact with them. Like, no shit. Yes, of course I could. Of course I did.
Because you would have been the one that organized, getting together with them. Like, maybe we should probably align with the other punk coven.
I am the one who prevents you two from killing yourselves. Yes. I would like to ward our hearth.
Okay.
It's listed as a curse, but it's ward a location or person with fey or with spirits such that subjects cannot approach it without being victim to their tricks, harm, and fear.
Yep. And that you don't need to roll for again because it's a meeting. So you just set up the ward, and your spirits are there. You're calling in some of the natural animals that are in the area, and their spirits, I'm assuming. So if this is West Coast, we're talking about like cougars and coyotes and things like that.
Bears. Yeah. I'm thinking Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, bears. Okay. Yeah.
Can we maybe like, I don't know, is there anything that I can do to, give a certain level of like protection or enraged kind of fury to help us in this cause for each one of us, or at least my two comrades here?
The short answer is yes, but I don't know what the effect would be until we need it. So
okay,
why don't we hold on to that?
Cool.
It might be something that you can give somebody an advantage if they need it because you set that up.
Yep. Okay.
We'll call it a blessing. Okay, great. So next is the mission. And yes, we're blasting through, but we're good. We have half an hour. The important thing to understand about the mission is that it's different than the menace. The menace is you're in trouble. Mission is you are badasses. So yes, we're going to be rolling, but this is the cinematic, we're going to take them down kind of that slow motion walk as you're strutting somewhere kind of moment in the movie where you're just going to go, you're going in. So that's where we are. Conflicts on play. Sorry about my computer powering off. I was like, I don't need the power cord. It's going to be fine.
I do that all the time and have the same problem. No, it's great. We can just explain things as we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we have witch killers.
Yep.
We have as a conflict. Also,
not for long.
Also, there is I'm calling this conflict the summoner because you don't know who summoned them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And this person is in play. So those are the two conflicts right now. There'll probably be some more, and if there are, I'll let you know. So all right. So as we go to do this, what does it look like? I just need to see the visual of. Are you approaching the church like on motorcycles? Are you like, or do we start like with the church getting thrown open, or how does this go down?
I have an idea.
Yes.
First of all, we would all probably get ourselves ready individually, right? Deck ourselves out in our most important gear for battle, obviously, brand new corpse paint, two, double stacked, fully spiked gauntlets on either one of my forearms, that kind of stuff. But, do we have like a murdered out van that maybe used to be like a gig van, but we no longer practice, so we just kind of left the whole band thing aside, and now
is there a wizard painted on the side of this thing?
No, yeah. No, it was whitewashed over. If there was, Dara just like went black paint, just covered it.
You could kind of see like the outline of the wizard.
It's literally just like black spray paint. He black spray painted the entire side of it as best as he could.
So the mission is when you are a badass and okay, never mind.
No,
reiterated that. Yeah. All right, so yeah, okay, so you have a van and you're gonna come in.
Yeah, we're rolling up.
So there's rolling like the gloves coming on, face paint going on.
Yep.
There's no change with me except that I have a box cutter in my hand.
Yeah,
And your
Dara
bruise
looks
is looking worse for some reason.
Dara looks exact. He literally is just like waiting for them. He's like,
I'm a Legba, of course, is probably gonna take his sweet time to get ready.
He's got to get the makeup
It's
right.
got to be different.
Yeah, he's got to put on
And
that
the
rouge.
fresh nail polish, the whole thing. All right. So, are you? How does it go? You're driving up to the church. Now, the church has a bunch of motorbikes out front, and it's clear that somebody's in there. This is also middle of the day, and they were out pillaging all night, so you don't know really what's going on inside. You don't hear anything. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to just kind of park and sneak in, or are you going to go charging in?
Dara is driving.
Mm-hmm.
Good, because I was waiting for you to be like, I just rammed the bikes. I was waiting for it.
No, Legba doesn't know how to drive.
Good. Okay, Dara is driving. And he parks around back. And is like, so I'm voting we sneak in and try to deal with this when they're like not expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, we could sneak in through the back. We don't have to go guns a-blazing. I don't know what I'm expecting in there.
You never know. So yeah, let's just do it. Just walk in there nice and quiet.
So you
Cut
go
some
through the
throats in their
backyard.
sleep.
Donovan, should we split up or should we kind of go in at the same time?
How many entrances are there to this place besides the back? Is there any kind of side
Yeah,
entrance?
it's a cathedral, well, kind of a cathedral. It's a big ornate church building, so there are tons of entrances. I mean, you have the major front entrance, and then there's still a cemetery attached to it, graveyard, and there is the back entrance. There's probably a cellar, likely side entrances. There's probably like a little wing that used to be a school where they have an entrance. So there's tons of ways to get in.
I'm going to make my way over to the school entrance. Be like, I'll catch up with you guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna in addition to like the entrances and stuff, are there trees on the property, or is it kind of okay?
If we're in the Pacific Northwest, you can imagine there's lots of thick trees and shrubbery.
I'm just gonna actually climb a tree and see if I can get a good vantage point looking in, maybe upper levels. Try to get a good view of what's inside, potentially from a higher vantage point.
Okay, so you are going to roll then. Which game am I playing?
Great American Witch.
Thank you. You're going to roll awareness, which is a wisdom roll. You're confronting witch killers.
Okay, so still rolling all 3 dice?
No, just 2. On
Just
spells,
2 on this.
you roll all
Okay.
3. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that is wisdom. My wisdom is +1, so I have a 9.
Okay. Yeah, you can see there is inside the main window. Actually, you can see the where the pews used to be and the altar. All of that's been cleared out, and there is a biker gang kind of in various stages of sleeping and getting up, and kind of like in there. But you also see that it's the one that has to be Baylor is a very, very large bearded man with a helmet on, and he sees you looking at him. He doesn't react. He just
I wave.
looks.
I wave at him, and then I start climbing back down the tree. Okay, well, they know we're here.
They know you're here.
Yeah, they don't know I'm here. I'm still in the van. Smoking. Waiting to find the right moment to just walk in. Kind of watching as he's climbing the tree.
The moment might be now.
So, Donovan, you're going in through the wing.
Yeah, because if these people are doing anything creepy with kids, I'm going to be even more pissed off.
Now, fortunately, it hasn't been a school for decades, and after that, it was a club. So everything that's in here is like old used furniture, and it was in disarray. It looks like they probably cleared out the important stuff and just left the rest of the junk for squatters. So it's kind of in disrepair. Power isn't working, and there's there are blinds, but some of them are closed and some of them aren't. So there's sort of erratic sunlight coming in through the dust. and you can walk the length of the wing and go into the main chapel building. And that's really your only choice. Or, there's probably a basement. There's other rooms you can go into.
I'll slowly and carefully make my way down the main hallway towards that church.
All right. You hear somebody in there barking orders in a language you don't understand. Very guttural kind of ancient sort of sounding language. Now, I don't know if Dara speaks Gaelic.
Yes.
Okay, so then you recognize it as Gaelic.
Okay.
You just don't understand what they're saying.
Okay, I'm like,
it's ancient Gaelic though. But I mean, I'm just saying that Donovan recognizes that language is probably Gaelic.
He's heard Darius speak it.
Yeah.
I probably have heard it on a King Diamond album.
Yeah, so I love that album. It's dark at last day. Fucking awesome song.
Oh man. Okay, we're getting the full catalog. Okay, so what do you want to do? Are you going to go inside? Are you going to wait for a moment to go in?
I'm going to wait. I'm going to hear as much as I can and see if I have any kind of visual indication of my two compadres making their way over. So maybe we hit them all at once. But maybe after a certain period of time, I'd just be like, oh, fuck it. They're probably smoking in the van again.
No, I would be approaching the main entrance. I'd be like, all right, well, he saw me. Fuck it. I'm just going to walk over that way.
Yeah, and as I saw Dara leaning down and starting to walk, that's kind of like, oh.
I would have actually like bang, bang, bang on the van as I walked up.
Yeah.
Not like super loud so they hear it, but just like bang. It's like, so he's like, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that's the wild card signal, and so I'll jump out and try to see if there's like a window or something I can climb through.
Oh yeah, definitely. Are you going to go into the main chapel, or are you going to go inside the wing, or maybe through the back, which are probably some offices and things near the graveyard?
If there's a graveyard entrance, I'm going to go through that just because it's going to make me feel comfortable.
Yeah. As you're going back through the graveyard, it feels empty. There's you think maybe that hopefully this is true, that they've moved the bodies when the place got converted into a club. So it's a graveyard, but it's not like there aren't any bodies in there. You don't feel like normally when you go into a graveyard, you can feel all the different memories and the not the weight, but you can feel the action, the movement of the spirits. But now there's nothing out there.
A shame.
Yeah, too bad. Okay, so you're going in, and the back entrance is sort of like a utility area, and then you kind of go in, and there's a series of offices and a hallway going down. It's like it is in the wing. It's very dusty. Some sunlight's getting in. At the end of the hall, door is opening up, and there is a large biker dude walking in, and he kind of like is bleary and not really paying attention, and goes into a side room, which apparently is a bathroom, because you hear him taking a leak.
I'm going to slowly, I'm kind of doing my spy thing, right? I'm doing like the overly dramatic, making sure I'm not making too much noise with the boots that I'm wearing, making sure like I put my wallet chain in my pocket and try to like sneak up behind the fellow.
Do I see this as well?
You are in the wing
section.
And he's coming in through the back, so you're in a different section. Are you going to go in?
Into the bathroom?
Oh no, Donovan. I was asking Donovan if he's going
I'll go in.
All right, door opens, really creaky and loud.
Of course it is.
There's a bat that kind of flies out from the rafters, and then you see about a dozen or so bikers all just sort of stop and look at you.
At that point, I would like to kick open the main door.
Okay.
Like when I see him climbing in the window and like I hear like that noise, I'm just gonna kick the door in. Which like Dara's like the much more unassuming one. So it's like, wait, what? Fuck.
They suddenly now realize they're being attacked. What happens in the bathroom? What happens in the bathroom?
So the biker guy's taking a piss. He's taking a leak. Excuse me. And I'm gonna smash his face up against like really. I'm gonna take his head and I'm just gonna try to smash his head against the like the wall or the urinal like metal part
Yeah.
as hard as I can.
Let's say it's the urinal metal part because that's even cooler.
Yeah, around the corner.
What? Why?
Well, I mean, we're here to. I mean, they're awful, and we're here to do something, and I want to, I want to do it. I'm ready to fight.
All right. So this is make a stand.
Yep, make a stand. I want to make
Which is
that
wisdom.
stand, baby.
So you can see why this matters, right? Because if you were just lashing out, that would be severity, which is the better roll. But if you're doing it for altruistic reasons, or make a stand.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not mad at him or anything. It's nothing personal. I'm just here to do a job. So what kind of roll? I'm sorry.
Oh, and sorry, it's a wisdom roll. Make a stand.
Okay, wisdom roll. Oh, come on. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a 10.
Okay, and you're confronting witch killers. So you can introduce a truth. You also get a charm because this is a regular roll and not a magic spell. So so you can tell me how this goes down in this case.
Cool. So yeah, I kind of creep up and I'm purposely ghosting up behind him. I don't grab his head. I just take my hand and just kind of dome him on the back, and his face goes flying towards the that metal kind of round part on the top of the urinal, and makes a pretty significant gash on the front of his head, causing him to bleed a lot because it's a head wound. It kind of turns into a little bit of a tussle. It doesn't knock him out. I mean, I'm sure he kind of sees stars for a second, but immediately turns. And it's just this really awkward, closed-in kind of bathroom fight. And I'm trying to do my best to navigate, flailing arms and blood all over me, blood all over him. And I'm just trying to keep slamming his head on the side of the urinal as much as possible.
Until he's dead, basically, right?
Until he stops moving.
Yeah, right. The fight is odd because you can see him changing form and shape as you're struggling, and features come out that are sort of bestial that come back into a face, and claws come out at one point, and you finally bash him into the floor, breaking the linoleum. This black ichor is coming out, and he just sort of dissolves into this puddle of tar. And it's steaming, smoking, and it smells like wretch.
It's all over me.
Yeah, it's not good. Meanwhile, back in the chapel, doors bust open, and you have Donovan coming in, and you said something about motherfuckers. What was it?
Sup, motherfuckers. I heard what you did, and now you're going to pay for it. And I'm going to do condemn severity roll.
Yeah. Okay, you are confronting witch killers has been confronted and resolved. So you can spend a charm to go after it again. In this game, that means it's subdued. It's still on the table. There are still witch killers, but we've already moved against them. So you can spend a charm to do that again, or I'll make a new conflict.
Spend a charm, I guess.
Okay, so you can go after witch killers.
Nice.
And you are doing a severity. It's a crone curse.
Yeah, I was going to do, let's see. Subject will bleed out of all of their body orifices until they painfully die.
Yeah.
What?
Nice.
Wow.
And, who are you doing this to?
Whoever I find to be the most intimidating.
You could, if you put some weight and time into it, you could potentially do it to everybody, but it would take a lot of effort and a lot of time. Just so you know.
I'll do it to the most problematic looking member of the crew. You take down
Baylor, the guy with the big helmet. Yeah.
Oh, he's there. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone wearing a helmet is toast. Because they came prepared, and I don't like that.
Okay, so you're rolling severity.
Okay.
And I think, and just because it's a full moon, you get an advantage. So you pick the best 2 out of 3.
Awesome.
Also, are you in crone?
I'm in mother.
Oh, you're in mother. Okay.
Yeah. So I got a 7.
Okay. So the effect works as intended. There is black pouring out of his eyes, out of his ears, and his face sort of melts off. You've done the spell before, right?
Yeah, normally it's blood.
Yeah, usually people just bleed out of every orifice and sort of like die in a convulsion. This guy is like melting a bit, and you can see this sort of deformed eye out behind the flesh, and black ink just draining out of it. And of course he's screaming as he kind of falls into this puddle of ooze and turns into that same ichor that I described in the bathroom. The others are like crowbars, chains, and they're charging. What's going on up there?
Looks gooder.
Dora. I keep on having to look at your name. I'm sorry.
Dara? Yeah.
Dara.
I'm going to attempt to use my crone curse. The subject will be harmed or killed by a spirit on as many of them as I can and just like blast them.
Nice. All right. So you are also trying to confront a conflict that has just been subdued.
I'm going to spend my charm.
Okay.
And
so it's back.
Since we're almost done.
Yeah.
Boom.
What are you saving it for?
So I am in crone, so I get a +1 to severity, so I get a +3 to this, 2 to this roll, which makes it an 11.
Okay. There you go. You have another experience in crone, and you have basically narrative control because we only have 5 minutes left. So how does this go down?
It's like a rampaging grizzly just came through and just tore a swath through the bikers. Like they just like, to me, I can see it, but to Donovan, it just looks like they suddenly go flying, like bloody, like huge raking claw marks through their biker leathers and flesh, just like being torn apart. And I'm just standing there in the doorway with my arms crossed, drumming my fingers on my arm.
I'm just gonna take the box cutter that I pulled out as I'm watching this and be like, "Fuck it!" I just throw it.
And that does make me start laughing.
So outside, after this is all over, this carnage is there. You see on the lamppost outside on the main street, the 7 sisters are standing, each on their own lamppost, observing. And they kind of like whip away as ravens, except for the umbrage lady, who just kind of like clicks her tongue, and then she flies away, and the summoner is now off of the table. So then on the next game, you'll have to hunt down
the summoner,
the 7 sister who summoned the demons.
Dun, dun, dun.
Stay tuned.
Awesome.
Someone's getting a promotion.
Yes.
Cool. That is a fun game. I can see how you
game.
could do a lot of different things with it. Like obviously we went much more cinematic and like in your face, let's do this a bunch of crazy stuff. But you could definitely
we only had an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And wanted to show off mechanics and things like that. But you could definitely do a much more subtle, like spiritual focused witchcraft style game, and you can do a lot with it. That's pretty cool. And so very rules light, very powered by the apocalypse style. Rick mentioned cult. It definitely gave me vibes from Monster Hearts. So this game is not released yet, as you mentioned earlier in the stream. Right. Where can people find more information about it?
They can go to greatamericanwitch.com, which actually goes to my site, christopher.world. And there is a email sign up there, so you can just stay in the loop when there are developments. Also, I do have 10 spots for a group that is willing to do a campaign playtest. That's the most important thing that I need done right now. So if you would like to, go ahead and sign up for that, and then I can give you the playtest materials, and then you can get started playing.
The layouts are nice too. Having looked at them,
they're beautiful.
I do very much enjoy the layouts and the art that you used. It's very nice. So thank you for running this for us. That was very enjoyable. I know that you ran Happiest Apocalypse on Earth yesterday. You were actually running a session of this for some players in a little while. So I am excited for them to get to play a longer session. Anything else?
If anybody wants to play our characters, I mean, by all means, go for it. Legba's on the table for you.
Dar is not. You can't play me.
Yeah,
I
love
apologize
the biker
ahead of
witches.
time, Christopher.
Yeah, the metal witches are great. I think we need more of these.
Yeah, you definitely need some metal witches.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. Anything else that you have that you're working on or that you have out that people can look into? Similar games?
Those are the biggest things. I mean, check out Christopher.world. All my stuff is there. I'm on Twitter at Gray Author. That's the Queen spelling. And I think everything is there. The biggest thing right now is Witch. I think this is going to be an important game for me. It's something that I have a lot of passion about, and really looking forward to getting it out to the marketplace. So after this whole crisis passes, hopefully by the end of the year we can have it on the shelves.
Very cool.
But I would love that. This was fantastic. And
this is a great game.
I really like the work that went into this, and I want to actually spend a little more time reading through it now that I got a chance to play it. Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, viewers. We're gonna get out of here and give you over to the next panel, which I believe is the horrible, terrifying cosplay panel.
Yes, horrible, terrifying cosplay.
Yes, I didn't have the schedule in front of me, and I was trying to do it off the top of my head.
Yeah, that one's going to be a good one.
Yes,
hosted
that's going to
by David with Rachel Judd, Natalie Manzarenko, Cassandra Lee of Devil's Luck, and
Melee Damage.
Not My Cake.
Not My Cake of Devil's Luck.
Yep, and Melee Damage.
Yes, so tune in, enjoy, and we will be back with you later on various panels.
Check out Great American Witch because it's sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome.
One more thing, because we have the attention of, 60, 70 people. I'm about to run a Cult Divinity Lost scenario at 3:30. So if you want in, message us on Twitter and I'll put you in that game. I have 2 spots open.
Awesome. All right.
Sweet.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next panel.